Now, going on to more cultural news, you have Twitter having new rules defined for advertising. Now, this makes sense. Linda Macarena, I'm just kidding, Yacarino, she was the CEO who was brought in by Elon Musk, and given her career track, most of her career is in advertising. And Twitter's been bleeding money bad. They still haven't made a profit. Now they've trimmed a lot of fat from the equation. Elon got rid of about 6,000 employees. Though personally, I would say they're more activists because if you look at the user experience, it's the same, if not better, than when the employees were there. And of course, there are a myriad of videos showing how they basically just they would attend a 20-minute meeting and spend the rest of the day playing ping pong, going to the spa, and drinking wine on site at the campus. Which, for some weird reason, Elon still has it headquartered in San Francisco. That's a huge cost saving. Just move it anywhere else because that's one of the most expensive places to live in the United States. Also dangerous. But in order to try to attract more advertisements, they're rolling out some new requirements and they're adding new definitions of where would you like your ad to be shown. Now, that in and of itself really isn't that controversial. Pretty much every social media platform, even if it's a TV network, when a business wants to put an advertisement out there, they want to know what content will they be pseudo sponsoring. They're not sponsoring a show or something directly. They're not endorsing it, but it's going to appear before, after, or during specific time slots which have specific shows. Now, it looks like the new settings are called, of course, sensitivity settings, which, C minus for marketing, I guess. Now, it goes on to say, reduce agencies to varying levels to sensitive content on the, quote, for you, unquote, timeline according to your brand's sensitivity threshold. Standard sensitivity is selected by default. Now, there's actually 3 categories. Now, ironically, this is hilarious. The one to the very right, most strict one, is called conservative, which is ironic because that's usually the content that is discriminated against the most. Now, their definition is shows alongside limited content for brands with strict sensitive thresholds. Those being avoidance example, targeted hate speech, sexual content, gratuitous gore, excessive profanity, obscenity, spam, drugs. Now, I don't know why there's discriminating against the pseudo-meat food known as spam. Now, granted, I would never voluntarily eat spam, but it's disgusting to see they would discriminate against a food brand like that. I'm kidding, obviously, or not so much. That was a joke. Now, again, the issue is hate speech. That definition means nothing because every platform, heck, every person you meet in life, that's going to mean something else. This is almost as bad as the ambiguity that American politicians put into laws, where there's so much gray area, you can manipulate it to mean whatever you want it to be. People on the left, people on the right. That's one of the most frustrating things, and perhaps that's why lawyering or law is such a huge industry in and of itself. So you have the conservative one, then you have the standard setting. Now the standard one, the description of standard is runs ads alongside a reduced range of content for brands with moderate threshold sensitivity. Example, avoidance examples including targeted hate speech. So they're both targeted. I missed that one word. Targeted. Against what, whom, or how? They don't define it because they want that gray area. Also including explicit sexual content, gratuitous gore, excessive profanity. Now, that again is annoying because what words are profanity? Now, personally, I try to keep this more pseudo-family friendly. I try to say, earmuffs if I'm going to use a pejorative term or a profanity. But again, you really want the devil's in the details from an advertiser's perspective as well. I would think they would want, because I know even ratings on movies, PG-13, which also goes to the moral downside of the United States, now you can actually say the F word, I think, 2 or 3 times. When I was a kid, you weren't allowed to say it once. Which also shows it's a sliding scale, also known as, the snowball effect or the slippery slope theory, which is more of a fact these days. But yeah, they don't tell you what their definition of profanity is or what specific words. Now, that would help advertisers more if they know which category are going to have which specific words, because they might be okay with saying a damn or something. That might be acceptable. Perhaps they were maybe just talking about beavers or something, which is ironically hilarious enough. Also, perhaps a pejorative or sexual term depending on who you talk to. So there's a lot of gray areas when it comes to these definitions, which makes advertisers' jobs a little bit harder as they're trying to find where it makes sense to put their advertising dollars. Now, the third standard that you're going to have, which they said this is coming soon, is relaxed. Now, the description of that is show ads alongside some sensitive content to maximum reach. Okay, that almost sounds good because you're going to get the maximum reach. And then the avoidance examples is targeted hate speech, which again, no one can define, explicit sexual content. So I guess for that category, you could say whatever you want in terms of swearing but even hate speech, there's some swears that would be considered hate speech. So even not then perhaps, but why don't they just have everything, or like why don't they just have an additional one where they just everything? Because there are some brands where they want to sponsor everything because maybe it's a product which is a commodity or something that literally every group wants or needs, and they're not concerned about being on a TV show or having an ad under a video that has a swear or they talk about something like that. So it is interesting to see these are rolling out specifically because advertisers do need guidance when they're looking at these ads and where to put them. But it's also concerning because, again, a lot of this is in the gray and not really defining it at all. So it'll be interesting to see, is this enough to bring back some of the advertisers? Because Elon's lost 50% of the advertisers since he took over Twitter. So I was going to say, I know math scores are all-time low in the United States. That's half, 50%. So half that apple, if you have an apple, half of it's gone. And again, Elon's trying to make this thing profitable. He's also trying to make it the all-in-one app. And part of that is going to be making a profit. And given his track record in business, he will probably be able to do it. But it'll be interesting to see. As I always say, time shall tell. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in. We're trying to get to 3,000 subscribers by the end of August. So if you click that button, I would greatly appreciate it. Also, don't forget to take the time to like and subscribe and comment. The comments help the channel grow and develop, and greatly appreciate them. Also, don't forget to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe and fight the good fight.